scariest striker on earth.
This man right here is the hardest hitting kickboxer of our generation.
Truly one of the most terrifying human beings alive.
Bad motherfucker.
He hits people and it doesn't even make sense.
Alright, I just want you to know, this guy was a phenom. Kickboxing, double champ, like he had all the titles. Then he stopped and he starts drinking, becomes a huge alcoholic. Then Izzy makes a statement talking about how Alex is only famous because of what he did, and that wouldn't happen to him in the UFC. Cool. That's how you feel. Alright. Then Alex comes to the UFC, and in 3 fights, knockout, 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 he gets to Izzy. And that was probably some hype like crazy. And then he knocks Izzy out. The guy who couldn't do anything and was drunk at a bar stopped, got back into training, and still knocked him out.
But he hits them. It's like he's a heavyweight and they're a lightweight. I'm telling you, he's got fucking freaky power. Is this the best striker on the planet? Yeah, I agree. It has to be.
But Pereira doesn't just have freaky power. He also picks his shots wisely.
Just calculated, smart, patient.
And I'm not going to lie, he looks like a straight, shout out Grumstyle, he looks like a straight menace when he shaves his head off. It just looks like, I don't want to fight you, bro.
And set everything up, and that's what makes this beautiful. The way he stays so calm, even when he gets hit, his face doesn't change. He sets up everything.
This kickboxing monster has the scariest power in all weight divisions. And yes, even when you include Francis Ngannou.
Oh my god.
He hits so hard that most of his fights look like absolute mismatches, and they're all the best in the world. As soon as he...
My man's power is like back in the day when they would compare hand sizes. Brock has like a 3 or 4 triple XL glove. Like his hands are just massive. They're like lunch boxes. So think of Alex Pereira having basically hammers for hands, and all he needs is you in the phone booth with him, and he can just knock you out. You don't even have to be far away. He
touches them, they get sent flying. Sometimes it looks like he's just toying with his opponents.
Pereira looks like he's just toying right now.
In his amateur career, he had 25 wins, with all 25 by knockout. As soon as he enters the ring, he flattens them. Sometimes he literally sends them out of the ring.
Ooh.
When his opponent hits him out...
That was amateur. You see headgear, shin pads. That was amateur. Still seeing if you want to be a fighter now. If I'm fighting somebody like that and he knocks me out and I fall out of the ring, here you go, coach. Thanks for all your time. This ain't for me.
However, it's like he's made out of titanium, with absolutely no effect on him. You see, in Brazil's native Tupi language, Po means hand, and Atan means being like stone. Pereira's nickname, Poatan, literally means stone hand.
There you go.
And his left hand is marked by a tattooed collection of rocks and pebbles.
Wow.
It's no wonder that with godlike power, he is the only man who knocked out the great UFC champion who often enters God mode, the one and only Israel Adesanya.
I hit this mode called God mode where I just feel like this guy can't touch me.
This is guy Alex Pereira, but he's the only guy the knockout style bender. And then he finally made his UFC debut, and I was so excited. This guy has this freakish, disproportionate power where it doesn't make any sense.
Now, in kickboxing, I will say, Izzy had him every time towards the end of the first round. More so on Izzy's part for not pushing that, seeing as that seems to be the only way he is able to catch him. He fought him in the UFC. Poatan got very cocky when Izzy ended up in the same position as the first fight where he knocks him out. So I can understand being overzealous and getting excited. He got caught. Cool. But if you watch all of Izzy's fights, he's got to be the one dictating the pace and putting the pressure. If you put the pressure on him, he doesn't fight back. He doesn't defense. He runs back till he can restart and then try to get a strike or 6 off. Poatan just keeps going forward. The pressure's there. He's not waiting for you. He's in motion.
Pereira looking to make history here.
Fight fans, in this video we pleasure you to all of Poatan's stone cold knockouts.
Wow!
Think of if he kicked that guy in the face while he went over for a liver shot.
Alex Pereira! My goodness!
Espetacular, uau!
Oh no! He's done it! He has done it!
What are you made out of? Like, everybody goes unconscious.
Poatan Pereira! That's that completeness!
Before we begin going into each fight, it's important to understand the evolution of Alex Pereira. Pereira began his fighting career as a boxer who transitioned into kickboxing. Initially, he kept his hands much higher with a focus on fundamentals. However, over time, he created his own unique style. Not only did he dramatically lower his guard, he increased the amount of pressure he gave his opponents. Many of his opponents thought that he could only punch, that he is a boxer rather than a kickboxer.
Pereira may be the best boxer in all of glory.
Wilner said Pereira isn't a real kickboxer.
He doesn't believe that Pereira is a true kickboxer. Says he's just a boxer that's doing kickboxing.
His fight metric shows that he punches 75% of the time, with the rest equally distributed with kicks and knees. But this doesn't tell the story of how well-rounded he is. Pereira has been able to knock down many of his opponents with his knees and kicks. Where he lacks in defense, he more than makes up for it by being made out of titanium. And as many legendary fighters have said, the best defense is great offense. That is certainly true in the case of Poatan, and we explore the evolution of his brilliant knockouts starting from the newest to the oldest.
You know it's bad when the guy takes his mouthpiece off and he's hand up.
Alex Pereira versus Ertuğrul Bayrak. To defend
Alex, look at this. My man comes out, he looks like the Grim Reaper.
in the Glory middleweight belts, he comes out hands down, pressuring forward immediately, patiently waiting for his opponent to strike first. When Pereira finds an opportunity, he will release a combination, and when he does, Bayrak is all shelled up. Pereira uses the left kick to score and then invite attacks. And when the opponent attacks, he will reply with big right hands and left hooks. Here, as Bayrak's inside low kick comes in, Pereira rocks in with a left hook. Throughout this fight, we do see how hittable Pereira is. When the shots land, however, he is like titanium and doesn't get hurt. Pereira, of course, isn't always defenseless. He uses the Philly shell and the elbow guard to deflect shots. Once he hurts the opponent, Pereira continues stalking on a panicking and shelled up Bayrak. If Bayrak has his guard up, Pereira will pull down that guard for a right hook. As the fight went on, it looked like Pereira was just toying with his opponent.
Toying with Bayrak right now.
Even when the opponent's guard is up, his hooks still rock the opponent.
It has been a dominating round for Pereira.
Right on the bell, Pereira lands a perfect cross into the body, followed by a left hook to the head.
No, his nose is already bleeding.
That sounded like something you see in Mario. He was just like, bing, all the coins. That was beautiful.
The opponent's hands were up by his jaw, but it didn't matter. Bayrak was not in position to guard the chin, and the left hook landed flush. This is Pereira's signature left hook, punching the chin as the opponent defends the jaw. We will call this the Pereira hook. one that he's landed countless times against world-class opponents.
If you notice the way he bends his legs, he keeps his feet almost, his knees inward but his legs outward, so that when you kick, he's able to hit you with the knee, still be able to put his foot down and gain enough power to twist and punch. Very interesting, very awkward, but he has mastered it.
Alex Pereira versus Donaghy Albena. This fight has some good drama around it. Sadly mistaken, Albena thought he was too big, too strong, and too good for Powhatan.
We asked Donaghy Albena why he would win this fight. He said, "I'm too big, I'm too strong, and I'm too good."
Albena wouldn't step back against Pereira when the referee told him to.
So there's a thing of being extremely confident in yourself, knowing how far you can take you to get to the next level. There's also delusion. When you have a lot of yes men next to you, you believe that anything and everything you do can stop anyone and everyone. Confidence builds championship, and delusion builds decent to good fighters, but sometimes they become never champions. And that's because they're fighting more with emotion, depression, weight on their back, feeling like this is all or nothing. And fighting like that definitely doesn't put you more in a flow state, but it puts you in a very defensive and second guessing. And you can see when he first gets hit, the second guessing becomes the norm.
To step back. He stuck his hand out to touch gloves, but got overhanded by Pereira right away to start the fight. Pereira showed his vulnerability to low kicks due to his bladed boxing stance in this fight. He also knees with his hands down, coming in tall. This made him eat the left hook multiple times. Albena did particularly well when he let Pereira strike first and then counter. But eventually, Pereira lands a beautiful cross into left uppercut which rocks Albena. Then he would follow up with a combination spree into a knee to land the knockdown.
Left hook, Albena eats the knee now, trying to hold on. Can Powhatan put him down? And that is a knockdown for Pereira.
Albena tried.
The look on his face of F word, F word, F word, F word. He knew it was not what he wanted. He felt if that guy could get a glimpse and touch me, that's going to hurt. Now watch the difference. Remember that first beginning? He was just, alright, you want to go face to face? Now watch.
Tries to come back swinging, but Pereira lands a final left hook to end the night. By winning this fight in such spectacular fashion, Powhatan became the first Glory champion to win the belt in 2 weight classes.
He has done it! Glory's first ever 2-division simultaneous world champion! The best pound-for-pound fighter in the world today. I'm going to have to say yes right now. Can anyone stop that man?
Alex Pereira versus Jason Wilness.
Just look at how angry he looks when he walks in there. He's like, you ready? Look, you can even see when they bite the mouth guard, the difference in his jaw muscle compared to the guy he's fighting.
Before the fight, Wilness said Pereira isn't a real kickboxer.
He doesn't believe that Pereira is a true kickboxer. Says he's just a boxer that's doing kickboxing. Pereira, rather, his career began as a boxer, was very successful, but fell in love with kickboxing.
So Pereira came out much flashier than usual with kickboxing moves.
Nice body kick to start things, and a spinning shot.
Initially, Wilness was able to punish the legs well. But then when Wilness went for another low kick, Pereira countered with a high kick and landed flush.
Oh, high kick! Wow!
Wilness had his hands up, but it didn't matter. Like many of Pereira's left hooks, the high kick lands.
You see the difference. Look at
Wilness had his hands up.
Look at that. He's already striking before he's thought of, okay, I'm going to low kick him. The moment he puts his leg out,
But it didn't.
Bam, look at the difference in the hips. His hip is already up and above his belly button. Bro.
Matter. Like many of Pereira's left hooks, the high kick lands inside the opponent's guard. To finish his longtime rival, he throws a jumping knee. Wilnis, the fighter who had beaten Pereira.
Oh my goodness. You dazed a little, you see something, you're like, alright, he's a little movement, let me just breathe till the end of this round, and he just runs and knees you like that.
Twice much earlier in his career, ate his words hard here.
One of the best knockout performances I have ever seen in my 3 years here in Glory.
Getting finished in such dramatic fashion with signature kickboxing attacks must be humiliating after calling Pereira a boxer. Alex Pereira versus Yusri Belgari 3. Belgari is another fighter that had beaten Pereira before.
So you have to understand, most of the people who, if they get the chance to beat Pereira, it's 90% of the time decision. And it's always a close decision. You can take it by like a couple punches. But a lot of people weren't too keen on Alex back in the day because he was young, small, but he was just dominant.
In this fight, you can see why. Belgari is ruthless. Even when he nutshots Pereira, he'll continue attacking. He is also very sharp with his jabs and crosses. However, most of Pereira's opponents make the mistake of leading with big rear shots without a setup, such as the overhand or the right hook. And that's when Pereira does his best work, when the opponent rushes in with an overhand. To counter the overhand, he just simply throws a better one. Pereira puts his head just outside of position to not be hit during the overhand, and gets there first. In this fight, we got to see Pereira very strategic. He doesn't throw everything with power. Just when the opponent thinks he's safe to attack, he reveals his ace card.
Rico, that would have put down almost every man in your division as well.
Down every single man on the planet was so well timed.
And the crazy thing too is when you see him throw his hook, he looks to his side, bow, compared to the other guy who just closed his eyes and swung.
This guy, throw that right hand, nobody could stop it.
Alex Pereira versus Yusri Belgari 2. This fight also had some drama, with Pereira hitting his opponent after the bell prompting a charge. Luckily, the ref is a gangster and stops it, and the opponent calmed down after being splashed by water. In the beginning of this fight, Pereira came out with his guard very low, which exposes him to the high kick right away. We really saw some of his defensive holds when he backs up in a straight line, and is pressured by a logical combination. Belgari was able to land counter shots over and over again, as long as he got Pereira to lead first. Throughout this fight, Pereira was getting outlanded 2-1, but in any moment where he might look in trouble, his money shot left hook gets him out of trouble in any situation. Going for the right knee against Pereira is also dangerous as he's looking to time the overhand. But despite some nice moments, he was down 2 rounds in this fight. If Belgari had just kept scoring with clean long-range shots, his odds of winning this fight was very high. Instead, he decided to throw an overhand against Pereira and got hit by an overhand first again here. With an overhand and a knee combination landing flush and a deep cut, the ref ends the fight.
And it's over. Instantly, the doctor says no. It's done.
Alex Pereira versus Maicon Silva. In this fight, Pereira showed us how effective his left hook is against the southpaw. Pereira looked unstoppable in this fight, landing anything he wants to at will. When he throws a right knee, he gets hit with a left hook, but then comes back with his own.
Do you see, like, when someone hooks him, he just uses same Sean Strickland style, that shoulder roll or the shoulder duck so that it slides off the back of the body.
Own left hook and sleeps this opponent. The power of this left hook was aided by how the opponent was also throwing his right hook at the same time.
Bang.
Alex Pereira versus Barim Rama. Rama was a
See, looking at him when he had that nice little hair, you're like, alright, probably look like somebody who waits tables, you know, whatever. But when he shaves his head, you're like, holy shit, dude, you just look like a whole different monster.
With a #1 hit song on iTunes. He had never been knocked down before, but he was moving up in weight class and just looked small compared to Pereira. Throughout the fight, he was getting pressured and then getting slammed with right knees and left hooks. Once again, Pereira sneaks in the left hook through the opponent's guard that was protecting the jaw instead of the chin.
It is.
When Rama was rocked and protecting the chin, he goes to the jaw. He continues to apply pressure until the knockdown was achieved.
The verge of getting knocked out if he doesn't. Oh, that knee may have done it!
It was a ferocious rear teep into overhand, followed by a left hook and knee to the head as the opponent panicked. Even the camera guy was wincing. Pereira finishes this fight by slamming whatever he wanted into the opponent. Eventually, 3 knockdowns were achieved to call off the fight.
What a performance by the Brazilian Alex Pereira!
Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 2. In what's been the most iconic fight of Pereira's career, he was able to achieve what no other man has been able to do: knock out Israel Adesanya. The details of exactly what happened in this fight will be broken down and explained in a few days, but in short, this fight was absolutely epic.
So, like I said, Izzy, first round, was lighting him up. Even at the bell, he was like, I thought for a fact Izzy had it, and then started playing with his food, and like Pereira does, ducks under, Chuck Liddell left.
Adesanya was dominating the fight and close to finishing Pereira in the second round. But Pereira comes back in the third round and lands his signature left hook again. As Adesanya charged with a big left hand in southpaw, Pereira lands the left hook that hits the jaw, again bypassing the guard protecting the chin.
Textbook.
How do you take 20,000 children in the middle of New York City without anybody seeing? They are being...
Alex Pereira versus Junior Alpha. This was an action-packed fight. In this fight, we saw how effective the right knee of Pereira is. We also saw that if the opponent shells up against Pereira, his offense will simply make them crumble. From pull-down right hooks and combination punching, he showed us how to use high-level boxing in the kickboxing arena. If the opponent is all shelled up, he will use the left jumping knee.
Now you see, he's gonna jump, but you see how his knees, they buckle in, so his shins and his feet stay outward.
To finish the fight, Pereira used the lead uppercut to the right hook. Alex Pereira versus Dustin Jacoby. Against Dustin Jacoby, who is now a UFC light heavyweight prospect, Pereira came out with a high guard. The earlier we went into Pereira's career, the more we saw a traditional guard. His boxing, as always, was sharp here. When Jacoby threw the jab, Pereira slips while throwing his signature left hook, landing again on the chin while the opponent protects the jaw. He was able to do this twice in a row. Eventually, he corners Jacoby and then chains a right knee into left hook to finish the fight. Alex Pereira versus Matias Adaro. In this fight, Pereira was still unrefined as a kickboxer. He was losing the fight until he lands a stiff jab. However, his right knee was already
Look at that boxing stance.
quite developed, and he spears the opponent as he jabbed and loaded his overhand.
Oof.
When they reset, the same thing happens again. Throughout the fight, they brawled it out until Pereira finishes it with a right knee, followed by a 1-2-3 combination.
That was pretty. Sloppy. 1, 2, 3.
Alex Pereira versus Marcelo Cruz.
Look at his hair. Like, you look at the dude, you're like, oh, he don't want to fight. Look at that scraggly hair.
In this MMA fight, Pereira launches an overhand over the opponent's jab and rocks him. Then he easily combinations up and finishes the fight.
Ooh. Oh my God.
Alex Pereira versus Simon Marcus 2. This wasn't a knockout, but Pereira hurt the great Muay Thai and kickboxing champion Simon Marcus in their second
multiple
fight.
times.
Against Marcus's feinting jab, he throws an overhand that hit Marcus clean. When Marcus backed out of the clinch, Pereira hit a beautiful combination. It was a perfect chain of a rear uppercut into a left hook and then a right knee to the head. And as Marcus backed out again, he ate a left head kick. The head kick was set up by a left hook that Marcus was trying to evade. As Marcus bit down on his shield and started swinging, Pereira again ducked out to the left and loaded his signature left hook to drop Marcus.
And now Simon, oh, and he got caught with a left hook. What a big bomb.
By the way, if you haven't subscribed, here's what our reaction would be if you do.
Hey, I know you don't like to smile much. Can you give us one?
I'm Lawrence Kenshin, and thank you for watching all of the knockouts of Powhatan. In a few days, we will reveal the epic breakdown of our...
Alright, so the dude is just something different. The way he moves, stance, how his legs are down and out, but yet he's still always in it. And as you heard the guy say, just that left every time. Right knee, puts his hand here, frames it. Wow.